If you tune into the left-wing media, the zeitgeist media, that's most of the media, you'd think all is going well in the most consequential nation in the world. You know, US President Joe Biden has withdrawn from the re-election race. The Vice President, Kamala Harris, is raking in the money and the delegates, and she'll get the nomination and take on the Republican candidate, former President Donald Trump. But the situation is much weirder, much more dystopian and much more uncertain than all of that. And we're all left to wonder who's in charge, who is running the United States, who is leading the free world. As you might know, no one has seen the president since last Thursday. That's when Biden arrived back at his beach house in Delaware, apparently with a COVID infection and off to isolate and recover. Instead, he bowed to lobbying, both publicly and privately, from Democrat colleagues, and he withdrew from the race. The leader of the free world made that announcement not through an address to the nation, not a media conference, not a speech, not an address to his cabinet, not even a video message, but via a tweet. And today we finally heard from the Vice President at the White House.
Our President, Joe Biden, wanted to be here today. He is feeling much better and recovering fast, and he looks forward to getting back on the road. And I am firsthand witness that every day our President, Joe Biden, fights for the American people, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for his service to our nation.
Well, if he fights on many days, many of those days have been spent out of sight at his beach house or at Camp David. And once more, the president is out of sight. But when Kamala Harris gave campaign staff a pep talk, he turned up via a phone link.
Mr. President, thank you for calling in today. Over to you.
Julie, if I didn't have COVID, I'd be sitting there with you, standing there with you. I'm so proud of what you've all done. But this COVID can keep me out of people's hair for the next 3 or 4 days. But I'm going to be on the road, and I'm not going anywhere. It's kept me away a little bit.
Well, there he is, eh? Almost. Seemingly, the show has moved on, at least as far as the Democrats are concerned and the media. And yet there he is, the sitting president, turning up like the ghost of Banquo.
We love Joe and Jill. We really do. They truly are like family to us.
So do we.
And we do, everybody here does.
It's mutual.
I knew you were still there. You're not going anywhere, Joe.
I'm watching you, kid. I'm watching you, kid. I love you.
I love you, Joe.
Look, these are unusual times, unprecedented times, and they are deeply weird too.
Joe, are you watching? You hear this clapping? Can you see it?
I'm watching. I'm watching.
I knew it.
You see, while this theatre plays out, the real world and its problems grind on. For instance, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrived in Washington today, his country at war with Hamas, under attack from Hezbollah, Iran and the Houthis from Yemen, and there was no president or vice president there to greet him. So we get back to the question of the moment. Who is running the country? And if Joe Biden is not up to running a re-election campaign, and that's been clear for at least 2 years, then who has been running the country? And what's going to change over the next 6 months? Biden has almost 6 months to run before he hands over to whoever wins the November election.
I have suggested that the president should resign. The reason is, if everyone acknowledges that he is incapable of running a campaign, then he's clearly incapable of running the country. I mean, he has the nuclear codes. He has major decisions that he has to make every single hour of every day, and he does not have the faculties to do so now.
There's a constitutional process, the 25th Amendment. If Joe Biden can't run for president, he can't serve as president. And if they want to take him down because he's mentally incapable of serving, invoke the 25th Amendment. You don't get to sort of do this in the most politically beneficial way for Democrats. If it's an actual problem, they should take care of it in the appropriate way.
Yeah, what a mess, eh? Kamala Harris, one of the least impressive vice presidents in modern times, is suddenly in campaign mode. Her president is infirm and America is without leadership. One presidential candidate, the former Democrat Robert Kennedy Jr., is now an independent, but he's not rejecting completely a possible reconciliation between the Democratic Party and a member of its most famous political dynasty.
I think the Democrats would make if they looked at the polling, I'm the only candidate who can beat Donald Trump.
Right.
But I'm not going to get into the Democratic Party as long as the system seems rigged. If they had a fair system, I would definitely look at it.
So Kamala Harris doesn't have a challenger for the nomination so far, and either way, her choice of running mate will be critical. Still, you only have to look at what Republican aspirant Nikki Haley said in January to understand that the Democrat shambles could yet trouble Donald Trump.
Most Americans do not want a rematch between Biden and Trump. The first party to retire its 80-year-old candidate is going to be the party that wins this election.
How about that, hey? One side has made the switch, but so far they look likely to run the deeply unimpressive Kamala Harris.
From the moment we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden and Kamala, I call her Laughing Kamala. You ever watch her laugh? She's crazy. You know, you can tell a lot by a laugh. No, she's crazy. She's nuts.
The American political system is putting on a pantomime the likes of which we've never seen before. And it's got a long way to go with more surprises in store, no doubt. But between now and January, where is the serious political leadership and where is the national purpose in America? As I said yesterday, if Joe Biden really had the best interests of his country at heart, and if he really thought Kamala Harris is the president that America needs, he would have resigned immediately so she could be sworn in now and contest the election as the first female president. I reckon we'll see more pressure on Biden to do just that.